Kris here, Green Sabre, CROWSBLOOD, GODTHRYMM, Doom Telly time. Yeah, once again, apologies for the enormous delay on these things, but it's tough shit. I kind of try and promise that I'm going to get back to a weekly thing, but it's just proving more difficult than, I mean, particularly at the moment, because it's the 6-week summer holidays between schools, so any kind of windows that I would have normally got have been closed, because there is a child rattling around who I'm sure none of you want me to incorporate into these videos, but so yeah, particularly over the summer holidays, it's difficult to get content in. I've just got loads busier, so it's difficult to get content in anyway. So you'll just have to make do as and when they fucking turn up. And here's the next one. So I'm just going to do a brief collection update, because I have had a few additions to the collection over the last few months that I've not really touched upon at any point. There are further collection additions coming in, but you'll just have to wait for them to next time. Like the reissue of Principle of Evil, Cradle of Filth, that I was so thrilled when it finally got a reissue. Pounced on it. The pounce worked. I've got the colour vinyl. The colour variant is like a blue and black swirl, I think, or something like that. That's on its way. I don't think it's quite been posted yet, but it's not a million mile off. But you might have to, you'll have to wait for that one as and when it turns up. There will, of course, be the new who's been doing new albums that I've already got a pre-order in for. Oh, Deftones. New Deftones. That's a while off, yeah. New Paradise Lost. So anyway, there's lots of new stuff coming that I am waiting on. But in between whilst, I've got a little collection update for you. Speaking of updates, let's crack on with the band updates. Green Sabre. Note to report, we have rehearsed a couple of times since I last saw you, and we have a new song in the bank, and it is a cracker, if I do say so myself. It came together really quickly. It was one of them after the last gig that we'd done in Keighley. We all sort of like, we were discussing amongst each other how well Numb works live and stuff, and just the process of moving on to the next stuff, and kind of decided that without wanting our drummer Brian to get too bored behind the kit playing all this really, really slow stuff, how we incorporate the occasional little faster riff. Don't get excited. I'm not talking Morbid Angel levels of fast pace, but yeah, in this new one there may be a section that is slightly faster than crawling pace. So yeah, watch this space. Anyway, don't know when we'll get that, but we're still sort of tweaking it. But yeah, hopefully get it leveled to a point, and then it might see the light of day live at some point soon-ish. Not that we've got old book currently. But anyway, so that's the Green Sabre update. CROWSBLOOD update. I feel like I said this last time, but the full mastered versions of the songs are back in our hands, and we are just in the process now of firing them out to labels for a bit of label interest. So any of you out there watching this that think, oh, I have a label and I'm quite interested, well, fucking get in touch via the socials, because I think you're going to love it. Once we got that, we're a little bit reluctant to start sort of putting it on various streaming sites and stuff until we've had a few bites. And I'm convinced we will have a few bites, but you can pull this video up in a year from now when fuck all's happened and say, told you, Kris. Well, no, maintain positive attitude. And I genuinely believe something will happen with this. So let's wait and see. Physicals coming though at some point. So watch this space. We've been having holidays in amongst things, offsetting each other. So we've not rehearsed in a bit, but we're back in next week or whenever that was, whenever you're watching this. GODTHRYMM update. Recording is down in earnest. We've got the drums down and they're all sorted, and it's just a matter of laying all the other stuff now. I was down at Hamish's last week, putting down some like official final product rhythm tracks on a couple of songs. So yeah, get in there. There's a little sneak peek on my socials of one song I can't remember the name of, but you'll just have to wait. But yeah, if you get on my socials, Instagram and Faceache and whatnot, you'll get a little 5-second sneak peek of one of the new songs. But yeah, I can't wait for you to hear them. Awesome. Just on the GODTHRYMM updates, there are a couple of updates gig-wise. One of which we were down to, I feel like I've not mentioned this in ages. We were supposed to be playing the Deprivation Fest, 5th of September, down in Swindon, some farm near Swindon. Loads of crackers on the lineup. Cancer, Necronautical, Memoriam, Nervosa. Loads of big names on the lineup. The festival got pulled, unfortunately, so that's not happening. So really gutted about that. I was well excited, looking forward to that. We were going to be headlining the second stage on the Friday night. And yeah, I was dead excited about it. So when we heard months ago that it got pulled, that... yeah, disappointed is an understatement. But these things happen. I think, long story short, he's run that festival for a few years successfully as well, hence how he'd managed to get that lineup together. And I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe that the venue, the farm that he'd been using, all of a sudden reneged and says, can't do it there this year. So he had to, rather 11th hour, find a different venue that he did manage to source, but... costs went through the fucking roof, so it just made more sense to pull it. So yeah, anyway, no Deprivation Festival this year. He's looking at putting it back on an alternate venue next year, which we're hoping to be a part of, but just watch this space, basically. So yeah, very disappointed about that. The other gig that's not happening, we were supposed to be headlining a gig at the Fulford Arms in York, with Legea Wept, and I forget who the other band is that they've organised to go on with that. There were a few logistical and teething issues with that never particularly sort of sat well with us. It didn't feel like it was organised particularly well. And ultimately, it just sort of came to a point where we... getting closer to it, because the end of September's not a million mile away, where it just made sense for us to, like, look, take our names off this. We won't be doing it. So anyway, sadly, that's not happening. But yeah, one of those things. These things happen. All is fair and love and war and so on and so forth. And just, sadly. So our next scheduled gig is the 18th of October, Saturday 18th of October at the Greyston Unity in Halifax. It's part of the Music and Words, or Words and Music, whatever it is, festival that runs the whole week in Halifax. We're on the, I think it's the penultimate night. I think it all finishes in Halifax on the Sunday. We're headlining the Saturday. Could be wrong, but yeah, Greyston Unity. So yeah, come check us out. Right, enough on the updates. Let's go to collection updates. So without further ado, what's new in the collection, Kris? Right, well, I'll tell you where I'll start. I'll start with this. This ripper of an EP. The band are called Phobato, and contain good friend Ben Ash. Shout out Ben on guitars. You may know Ben from Strigoi, and he was touring guitarist for Carcass for a bit, if I remember rightly, if I've got my facts correct there. But anyway, this is the new Phobato EP. Now, let me get the name right. A Solitary Vigil, that's what it's called. This is a fucking ripper. Check it out. So it's a little digipack. You can get this direct off of their, it's either their Bandcamp or... Anyway... Is it Bandcamp or Big Cartel? Anyway, whatever it is, go find them via Bandcamp and it'll link you to wherever you get it. Nice little digipack there, nice CD. Nice picture of the lads and lass there on the back. This is a ripper. Check it out. If you like anything that sounds black and death, black and thrash in places, then fucking check this out, because it's an absolute stormer of an EP. Cracker. Opening track, Solitary Vigil, rips into it straight away, absolute belter. There's Absence of Light that I really liked. The Vacant World Within Us, they're all decent. It's 5-song EP. Go and check it out. Only costs like £7 or something. I might be over-egging it. That might be cheaper than that. But anyway, it's a decent price and a really cracking EP. Only just come out. Go and check them out. Phobato, A Solitary Vigil. Cracker. Nice one, Ben. Shout out, Mr. Ash, sir. So yeah, that's probably one of my more recent additions. Next, this. Now, I went from only having the picture disc of this, the original release picture disc of it, which back then picture disc didn't really sound brilliant. It sounded like shit, quite frankly. I got a repress of it that I think Peaceville reissued. I'm going to say 2014, 2015, just a black vinyl repress. Anyway, the 30th anniversary of it, or whatever, is it 30? Hang on, it'll tell me on the front, won't it? Paradise Lost Paradise. 35th anniversary. Yeah, of course it is. I'm getting far too old now. 35th anniversary reissue. I thought, oh, I've got to have that because it's on a lovely marble, marble purple, sorry. Look at that, swish vinyl, beautiful stuff. I got this mainly because I'm pathetic and I've got no willpower on these things. But also, unlike the 2014-2015 reissue that has got ever so slight tweaks to the artwork. I assume mainly so you know that it's not the original. But anyway, I'm tying myself up in knots here. But slight tweaks to the artwork, like the Paradise Lost on the reissue was written in white as opposed to the kind of greeny blue that you have here. And also, the other tweak was the back photo. There's a slight tweak to the... I should have probably dug it out to compare the two. But this year's Marble Purple reissue is the exact layout that you got on the original press of it. So that's kind of what sold me. And I thought, yeah, let's spend 20 odd quid on that. So, yeah, thrilled to get that in the collection. Paradise Lost, Lost Paradise, absolute belter. Very much looking forward to that new album that's coming this year as well, because it sounds really promising. But yeah, that could be famous last words. Don't let me down, lads. Next up, I've already shown this on a recent video that I did, but Splinter's Valenfire. I've been after some Valenfire on vinyl for an age, and I nearly picked up the debut because I managed to find that on Discogs for a somewhat reasonable price, I have to say. And then I found this. And Splinters, I love all three of them. Don't get me wrong. I think all three are cracking records. But Splinters is my favourite of the three if I had to pick. Classic, black vinyl. This is a repress of it as well, I'm going to say. It's not the original vinyl. I'm saying it's a repress. I'm pretty sure it's not the original vinyl anyway. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But anyway, maybe it never got a repress. But I love this album and I'm thrilled to get it in the collection. There's the wee lovely inlay that you can see there. There's the lads. There's, if you don't know anything about Valenfire, that's Greg from Paradise Lost there at the front. He does the vocals on this. That's Scoot there, bass guitar on this one. Shout out Scoot, top banana. My lovely friend and brother in in Greensabre and GODTHRYMM. Hamish Glencross there. Hamish was on guitars. I forget who's the bass. Is there any? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Scoot was bass on this one. I can't remember what the drummer's called, but yeah, you all know him. It's the Finnish lad or whatever he's called. So yeah, yeah, an absolute ripper of an album, and very pleased to get this in the collection. So I will at some point get the other two. But I'll just have to wait for now. I'm trying to save money for my upcoming holiday that I'm on to celebrate my 50th birthday. Yes, I will be 50 soon, kids. I remember when all this was fields, etc. and all that. And yeah, I will no doubt be dead soon. So please, you know, like and subscribe because they might not be here for much longer. But anyway, next in the collection, this beauty. I've had this a while actually and completely forgot that I'd got it. And this is the danger of vinyl collecting. When you get... This is why I want to be a little more precise on things. That sort of, when you get to a stage where you forget what you've bought in, that's never a good sign. That feels like a bit of a waste of money, quite frankly. And you then, are you just collecting for collecting's sake then, really? And I don't know whether that's a particularly healthy situation to be in. Hey, spend your money on what you want, of course. But yeah, but I've been after a bit of Demented Argo Psychobilly for a while. And yeah, finally got this one. This was a reissue of the Welcome Back to Insanity Hall album, which I want to say came out a while back. Like, over a decade at least, I'm going to say. 2012, yeah. So this is the, I can't remember how they described it, but that is a lovely, sickly, swampy, yellowy, black, pukey vinyl kind of thing. I feel like this doesn't fit in there either. I've just got it, yeah, floating around in the middle. But yeah, I've been after quite a bit of... as I have mentioned on previous videos, and for those of you that will know me, will already be aware, I'm wearing a Meteors t-shirt as well. I am a fan of Psychobilly. I fucking love the stuff. I love the energy of it. I love the look of it. There are so many classic Psychobilly bands that I want to enhance a collection of. So if anyone has got any Psychobilly that they're not particularly keen on and they want to get rid, let me know. I'm talking King Kurt. I'm talking... Demented Argo, besides that one, of course, I've already got it. Meteors, Frantic Flintstones. Frantic Flintstones, one of my favourite psychobilly bands, and it's really hard to find their stuff on vinyl. I am particularly after the debut that I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, it's a fucking ripper. But yeah, that is great. That's one of the more modern Demented Argo. That's got a really, really good punchy vibe to it all the way throughout. Some cracking tunes on there. They have a new album out this year that I like. I've not got physical of it yet, just the download. That I really, really like, but I don't think it's a patch on that. That's one of my favourites of theirs, is that? Yeah, 2012's Welcome Back to Insanity Hall. So yeah, a welcome edition. Speaking of welcome editions, yes, finally got this on vinyl. Now, I've been like uber nerdy about it. I don't have any original presses of Sabbath stuff. They're all reissue that I've got. And the only ones that I've got are the first 6 Aussie. I don't have any other Sabbath on vinyl, which is unforgivable. I agree. I did used to have Dehumanizer way back when, original press. And anyway, but yeah, that costs a few quid to get back now. But yeah, I love that Dehumanizer album. But anyway, with all what has gone on, I didn't really feel the need to do a video on it because there are a fucking million videos on the Aussie thing floating around at the moment. And it was kind of, it's probably sacrilege to say, but Aussie solo stuff never really did much for me. I never really was able to get into it. I have touched on this previously because even Sabbath passed me by at first because of how I got into metal. I got into metal at the back end of 1987, early 1988. That was my first experience. And it's probably not really metal. We're talking about Def Leppard. We're talking about Van Halen. We're talking about Guns N' Roses. We're a lot of the very overtly mainstream stuff, because obviously that was my only real access to it. So that was how I got into it. I was then got into Iron Maiden by a friend and kind of never looked back. I got on the Maiden train and just ran with it. And then after that, very, very quickly, I descended into thrash metal with Metallica and Slayer. And then very quickly after that, descended into death metal with Death and Obituary and Morbid Angel. And then doom metal came. And then, yeah, and it was doom. It was once I got fully into doom metal that I all of a sudden realised there's some greats here that I've never really properly checked out. So, yeah, I was incredibly late to the day with Sabbath. Obviously, it all sounded a bit limp then compared to the new, modern, heavier stuff. So it was a hard sell at first, but it was the doom metal stuff that cracked me. And getting into Cathedral and Bride and stuff like that made me realise the riffs are similar. Yes, right, I know who the daddies of this are. So Sabbath was difficult. The long way around I'm trying to say of this with Ozzy solo stuff is that Ozzy didn't have that doomy riffage to him. It was very what I term as hard rock and cock rocky kind of riffage. And I know that's sacrilege, I know this, but I'm just trying to explain why I couldn't get into Ozzy solo stuff then, and I still can't really now. There's only the odd track that I'm a fan of, like No More Tears, and a couple of tracks off the debut, and a couple of tracks off Bark at Moon, and the what's the one? Ultimate Sin, is it? There's some decent ones. Well, there's some decent ones I've realised that sort of dotted throughout, but I don't own any Ozzy solo. But anyway, you don't need to know all this. I finally got this in the collection. I've been uber nerdy, as I was alluding to before, and all my Sabbath reissues are all around the same era of NEMS represses that I've got. So I've kind of tried to stay with that as if, right, I've started with NEMS reissues. So my Black Sabbath is a 76 NEMS reissue, I'm going to say. As is my Paranoid, as is my Master of Reality, as is... No, they're the only ones that are 76 reissues. I've got a Volume 4 that I think is a 78 or 79 NEMS reissue. A Sabotage that's a 82 NEMS reissue. And this that is an 82 NEMS reissue. This is one of my favourite Sabbath albums of all time, though. I might still pick Master of Reality #1, but there's this, there's Sabotage, there's Paranoid, that all... But and Volume 4, I've been gaining a real appreciation of Volume 4 again, remembering just how good that album is of late. But anyway, thrilled to get this in the collection. So I now have my first 6 NEMS completed. And finally, new editions. The Thing. original motion picture score, the Ennio Morricone score on vinyl. I have been waiting for this for what feels like forever. I missed out. Waxworks Records are the company. They're either US or Canadian based that do a lot of like movie soundtrack reissues. They do My Salem's Lot that I showed off a month or two back. That's a Waxworks reissue, and the artwork is always class. So yeah, for example, you've got the big gatefold there with the Antarctica map there that looks like a anyway, yeah, I can't describe it. You've got the inner gatefold there, which is the original matte painting drawing that they used in the or based on the original matte painting drawing that they used in the film there, when they discovered the alien craft. There's a wee poster of the scene with the helicopter chasing the wolf. And the vinyl, of course, this is a 2025 reissue, and the vinyl is this beautiful, I think they termed it Trapped Under Ice merge. So yeah, look at that. That is absolutely stunning. I am thrilled to get in this in the collection, because as I mentioned, Waxwork have been reissuing these for some time. I think this is the third reissue that they've done of it, and they sell out like that. The second reissue that they did that had a really interesting kind of cover that opened up in like the jagged fashion, like, you know, like the guy's chest opens up and bites the fella's hands off in film. Well, the gatefold opened up with that kind of jagged tooth. Yeah. Anyway, that's going for several £100 now, is that? So yeah. But then I discovered really early on, I'm talking like January, February, that it was getting a reissue again via Waxworks. So I pounced. With the cost of it and the import and postage and whatnot, it was not cheap. I think it cost me about £55 all in, but I'm fucking thrilled to have it. It's my favourite film of all time. It's one of my favourite film soundtracks of all time as well. So, yeah, absolutely made up to get that in the collection. Right, even with about 5 records and 1 CD, I can still go on for 20 plus minutes. So, but that's what you know and love, right, kids? I've had a few additions to these subscriptions, so yeah, really, really nice. We edge ever closer to 300, but let's get there quickly, kids, because like I say, I'm going to be 50 this year. Not long left. You don't want me keeling over Tommy Cooper style on one of these videos, do you? So anyway, right, without further ado, thank you for watching, thank you for persisting, and thank you for waiting for these ever more sporadic videos that I put together. I will try and get another video out in the next week or so, but I can't promise you. So let's just stick to that, shall we, kids? Yeah, until the next time, and further updates of some variety or not, I'll see you anon. Thank you, guys. See you later.